Hi, my name is Medha Maindwal, and I'm going to be presenting my final deliverable, which was basically a briefing document for Global LA. So in terms of how we chose this project, since I worked at the Mayor's Office of International Affairs and specifically their trade and investment team, attracting foreign direct investment was one of our main goals. But then we realized we needed a specific entity focused on it. And hence the city of LA ended up being one of the main founders for Global LA, which is a public-private partnership that focuses on attracting foreign direct investment to the greater Los Angeles area and using those investments to specifically uplift the underserved communities we have. Hence, like in terms of my methodology, my Capstone project changed over time because initially it was going to be a community engagement strategy to figure out how to uplift these underserved communities specifically. But then later it turned into a literature review to understand what inclusive FDI looks like and what other entities are doing. But when we realized that Global LA functions as an investment promotion agency, we realized we might have to change the perspective of our project. So finally, I ended up doing a literature review of what international investors prioritize and what inclusive FDI looks like. And then I followed it with a case study analysis to understand how other investment promotion agencies around the world choose to promote themselves and their geographies. And this both combined helped me formulate recommendations in terms of Global LA's next steps, which I'll be sharing below. And it also, throughout my project, I also consolidated a list of programs, workforce development programs, and other resources that Global LA could highlight through its platforms. So in terms of the problems we identified, we knew that the greater LA area doesn't exactly have a designated point person for FDI, and there's a lack of information about specific sector strengths. We also realized there were a lot of disjointed efforts in terms of pre-existing organizations that are also working on similar goals, but they're not exactly collaborating, so it's difficult to retain these investments in LA. And we also noticed that communities weren't able to have a say when it came to these investments. Hence, in terms of my final recommendations, one of the main things we focused on to make sure that Global LA was able to function as the designated point person was to make Global LA an information hub for potential investors and make sure that it's able to provide all the necessary information about potential investment opportunities. And they can do this through strategic collaborations with academic institutions and pre-existing organizations to stay up to date with what's happening in terms of trade and investment. And at the same time, they could program and co-program events to position itself in the community and make sure our local organizations are also getting a chance to contribute. So in terms of my capstone takeaways, I learned a multitude of skills, but especially through this project, I learned a lot about my research skills and trying to find out how to use sources to my advantage and to like think outside the box and be creative when solutions aren't as obvious. So thank you so much for listening.